Most people start the keto diet wrong. And I'm not talking about eating the wrong foods. I mean, they start it wrong at the cellular level. And when that happens, they feel terrible. They quit in 3 days and they tell everyone keto doesn't work. But here's the truth. Keto does work remarkably well for fat loss, brain clarity, blood sugar control, energy that doesn't crash. It's one of the most powerful metabolic tools we have. The problem isn't the diet. The problem is the entry point. Think about it this way. Imagine you've been running your car on one type of fuel your entire life. Then one day you switch to a completely different fuel system. If you don't make that switch correctly, the engine sputters, it hesitates, it might even stall. That's exactly what happens inside your body when you move from burning sugar to burning fat. And if nobody guides you through that transition, the headaches hit, the fatigue sets in, the brain fog rolls through, and you think something is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. You just needed a map. In this video, I'm going to give you that map. We're going to talk about exactly how to begin keto correctly, what to eat, what to cut, how your body shifts, what symptoms are normal, and the most common mistakes that derail people before they ever see results. Let's get into it. If this is the kind of content that helps you, consider subscribing. I share things here that most doctors don't have time to explain in a 15-minute appointment. 6 things you'll learn today. Why your body resists fat burning. And the one number that unlocks it. The exact foods to eat on day 1, and the ones hiding in healthy labels that will kick you out. What the keto flu really is. And why most people experience it unnecessarily. The electrolyte mistake that makes people quit in week 1. How to know if it's actually working without buying a single testing device on day 1. The mindset shift that separates people who succeed on keto from those who don't. Before we talk about what to eat, I need you to understand what we're actually trying to do here, because most people think keto is just a low-carb diet. It's not. It's a metabolic shift. Here's what's actually happening inside your body. Right now, if you've been eating the standard way most of us grow up eating, your body runs primarily on glucose, sugar. Every time you eat carbohydrates, they break down into glucose, insulin spikes, and that glucose gets used or stored. Repeat, all day, for years. What keto does is flip that. When you dramatically reduce carbohydrates, we're talking below 20 to 30 grams per day, insulin drops. And when insulin drops low enough and stays low long enough, your liver starts doing something remarkable. It begins converting fat, your stored fat and the fat you eat, into molecules called ketones. Ketones are a fuel source your brain and body actually prefer. Your heart runs more efficiently on them. Your brain produces less inflammation on them. And unlike glucose, they don't cause the spike and crash cycle you've probably felt your whole life. But here's the key. You don't just wake up making ketones by eating bacon for one day. You have to earn that metabolic state. And the way you earn it is by understanding what actually drives insulin up and being disciplined about bringing it down. That starts with what's on your plate. All right, let's talk food, because this is where most people overcomplicate it or get completely blindsided by something they thought was fine. The foundation of keto is simple: high fat, moderate protein, very low carbohydrate. That means fatty cuts of meat, eggs, full-fat dairy if you tolerate it, butter, olive oil, avocado, nuts in moderation, and non-starchy vegetables, things like leafy greens, broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini. But here's where it gets interesting, and where people quietly sabotage themselves. The foods to cut are not just bread and pasta. Those are obvious. I'm talking about the foods that sound healthy, but are loaded with hidden carbohydrates: fruit juice, flavored yogurt, granola bars marketed as natural, oatmeal, honey, even too much fruit in a day. Your body doesn't distinguish between a tablespoon of table sugar and a tablespoon of honey from the perspective of insulin response. Both spike insulin, both block ketone production. And if you're trying to cross into fat-burning territory, you need insulin to stay low. Here's a simple rule I give patients. If it's sweet, starchy, or comes in a box with a health claim on the front. Read the label. Look at total carbohydrates per serving. If it's above 5 to 6 grams in a single serving, it probably doesn't belong in your first weeks. You're not counting calories. You're managing one hormone, insulin. Keep that in mind, and food choices become a lot clearer. If you're finding this useful, go ahead and hit subscribe. We go deep on exactly these kinds of topics every week. Now let's talk about the most common reason people quit keto in the first week. The keto flu. You've probably heard of it. Headaches, fatigue, brain fog, muscle cramps, irritability. It usually hits somewhere between day 2 and day 5, and people assume it means keto isn't working or that their body is rejecting it. Neither is true. Here's what's actually happening. When insulin drops, your kidneys respond by releasing sodium. And when sodium drops, your body pulls potassium and magnesium with it. Within 24 to 48 hours of cutting carbohydrates significantly, you can become genuinely depleted in these electrolytes. That's not keto being bad for you. That's your body flushing water weight and adjusting. It's actually a sign the shift is starting. The problem is most people don't replenish. They just suffer, and then they quit. The fix is straightforward. Salt your food aggressively, more than you think. Add a pinch of sea salt to your water. Make sure you're getting potassium through foods like avocado, leafy greens, or a simple supplement. And magnesium, especially magnesium glycinate, taken at night, can completely eliminate the muscle cramping and improve sleep during the transition. Imagine starting a long road trip but forgetting to fuel up before you go. You'd run out of gas before you ever hit the highway. Electrolytes are your fuel for this transition. Don't skip them. Let me address something I see confuse people constantly. Protein. A lot of people hear keto and think it means unlimited steak, unlimited eggs, unlimited bacon. And while protein is absolutely important, in fact, most people don't eat enough of it. There's a nuance here you need to understand. If you eat too much protein, your body can convert the excess into glucose through a process called gluconeogenesis. Your liver is remarkably good at making sugar from protein if you give it enough raw material to do so. And if that happens, insulin ticks up, ketone production slows, and you stall before you even get started. Now, I want to be clear. This doesn't mean protein is the enemy. Most people err on the side of too little protein, and that creates its own problems. Muscle loss, hunger, slower metabolism. The goal is to find the right amount. A reasonable target for most people starting out is about 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass per day, not per total body weight, per lean mass. Focus your protein on whole food sources: eggs, ground beef, salmon, chicken thighs, sardines. These come with fat built in, which helps keep insulin lower than eating a dry chicken breast alone ever would. Think of protein as the architect of your body, necessary and important, but not unlimited. Here's a question I get all the time. How do I know if I'm actually in ketosis? Now, yes, you can buy blood ketone meters, urine strips, breath analyzers. And down the road, measuring your ketones can be valuable feedback. But in the first 2 weeks, most people overthink this. Let me give you something better. Your body will tell you. The early signs that the metabolic shift is starting are unmistakable once you know what to look for. Your breath may take on a slightly sweet or fruity smell. That's acetone, a type of ketone being released through your lungs. Some people notice it, some don't. But more importantly, watch for this. Around day 7 to 14, something changes. The afternoon energy crash that used to hit you like a wall, it doesn't come. You realize you forgot to eat lunch and you're not panicked about it. Your thinking feels cleaner. You wake up without that foggy heaviness behind the eyes. These are not placebo effects. These are your mitochondria running on a cleaner, more efficient fuel. Another sign, water weight drops fast, sometimes 4 to 8 pounds in the first week. That's glycogen being released from your muscles and liver. It's real weight leaving your body. And it's your first measurable confirmation that carbohydrates are being depleted. Trust the process for 14 days before you evaluate. Most people judge keto in 72 hours. That's not enough time for a metabolic system that took decades to build. If this kind of inside the body explanation helps you understand your health better, I'd love for you to subscribe. This is what we do here. All right, I want to address the single biggest mistake I see, and it's not about food at all. It's about frequency. Most people starting keto eat keto foods, but they eat them every 2 to 3 hours, 3 meals and 2 snacks, maybe a fat bomb in the morning, a cheese stick mid-afternoon, a handful of nuts before dinner. They're eating keto, but they're eating constantly. And here's the problem with that. Every time you eat, insulin rises, even on keto, even on fat, even on protein. Every meal triggers an insulin response. If insulin is spiking 6 times a day, you are fighting your own biology. You're never giving insulin the sustained low window it needs to allow fat to flow freely from storage. Think of insulin like a lock on your fat cells. You can have the perfect key, low carbs, good food, but if you keep relocking the door every 2 hours, you'll never fully open it. The solution is to begin collapsing your eating window. Start with 3 meals, no snacks. Then, as hunger naturally regulates, and it will, because ketones are powerfully appetite suppressing, move toward 2 meals. You don't have to jump to 1 meal a day overnight, but the direction should always be toward fewer eating events, not more. This is where keto and intermittent fasting become partners. Together, they lower insulin further and faster than either one alone. Let's bring this together, because I want you to walk away from this video with clarity, not just information. Starting keto correctly means understanding that you are not just changing what you eat. You are retraining your metabolism. You are asking a system that has run on glucose for years to rebuild itself around fat. And that takes intention. It takes preparation, and it takes patience measured in weeks, not days. Here's what we covered. Keto is a metabolic shift, not just a food list. And it works by keeping insulin low enough, long enough for fat burning to take over. Your food choices matter enormously. And the hidden carbohydrates in healthy foods are the first thing to audit. The keto flu is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of transition, and electrolytes are the fix. Protein matters, but too much can quietly work against you. Your own body will signal that the shift is working before any device will, and your eating frequency is just as important as what you're eating. Here's your challenge for today. Pick one thing, just one. Clear the obvious carbohydrates out of your kitchen. Add salt to your water tonight. Set a rule of no snacking between meals tomorrow. You don't have to overhaul your life in 24 hours. You just have to start moving in the right direction. Every person I've watched transform their health on this path started exactly where you are right now, with a question, a little confusion, and the willingness to try something different. If this video helped you think about your health differently, hit the like button. It helps more people find this content. And if you want to keep going deeper on metabolism, fat loss, and how your body actually works, subscribe. We're just getting started. I'll see you in the next one.